हाय। कैसे हो आप सब? So welcome back to my YouTube channel SAS with Vikas, and in today video we are going to discuss the date and time function, the last part of the function. So in the last lesson we had discussed the date variable, what is the date variable, and in format and format for that, creating this data or variable date variable. So let's start the session with the date and time function. And before moving forward, just I want to explain you like this way also we can create that date variable. So as we discuss in the data creation, the various input methods like directly the named input method. So similarly, we can create the date variable also. So what is this date variable? Like a date variable I mentioned here, the date one is equal to, in the double inverted comma I mentioned the date in which format you want that one. So just like that I created this date, and this after this double inverted comma I use this d just because of this date constant. This is the in format for this date variable. This is the special kind you need to understand, like you need to remember this thing. And one for more thing, like after this as we have to give the in format and format both while creating the date variable. So just here I had used this d just of the in format, and again further using this format for the date variable date one. The format is like date 9 dot. So this is for the your basic understanding. You no need to no need to worry about this, like how to create that one. We'll see all things like in the upcoming, that how to, what are the different way of that, what are the types of formats, like all the thing. So let's start the date and time function, how to create this date function, how to use that one. So there are many more types of date and time function, like int ck, int nx, today, day, month, year, time part, date part, the all thing we will learn today. So as we had already know that what how to create the date variable, so let's start the discussing that important about the date function. Like what is the date function? The date function, there are like int ck. Int ck is a date function. What is the int ck? That in date, the day it gives always the difference of that one. Like suppose we have the two variable, date variable, and we want that the difference of that date variable, it could be in the day difference, it could be in the month difference, it could be in the year difference. We can get all thing, even we can get with the quarterly, weekly, all the thing. So what are the difference between of this these two variable we can get with the help of this int ck function. So what is this and how we are going to do this one? Let's understand each and one by one. Like I just created this data just of exp1. Just want to create this data. That's why I had noted in data of exp1. Again we have the variable date1. Just I have to create this variable. So directly I created with the date constant. I'm using this 16 November 2007, and again I'm creating this variable date 2 is equal to 23 December 2011, and using this date constant also. So our aim is to get the difference of that one. I want to get difference of the day, I want to get difference of the month, I want to get difference in the year also. So all things we can get with the help of this int ck function. Int ck is a kind of date function, types of date function, which gives the difference of the month, day, month, year, quarter, weekly, any kind of difference we can get with the help of int ck function. So this is about this int ck function. So let's understand this, how to be dealing with that. Suppose I want that month difference. I using this month for the int ck function and storing this value in the month underscore difference. And after using this int ck for the getting the month difference, and using, and again typing this in month in the double inverted comma, and after this comma date 1 comma date 2. This is the proper syntax to get the difference of that two variable. And in the position of day, month, year, quarter, you can change as per our convenience. So I use that all thing, like how to deal with that one, how to deal with the int ck function, how to get the day difference, how to get the month difference, how to get the year difference, how to get the quarter difference, how to get the week difference of these two variable, date variable. So this is the proper syntax you have to mention for what you want to get the int ck, that is the difference, for day or for month, for year or for quarter or for week. Okay, after that you have to mention that which, for which variable, for which variable you want to get difference. Suppose you have many more variable, but you want for that for first and last, so you have to give that first and last variable here. Then you have to store that that variable values in another variable, like I'm just getting this difference, but I want to store that difference value in this variable. So this is the proper syntax. You need to upgrade that thing also. No, I'll teach you, like the you have to upgrade yourself, like how to deal with the int ck function. By using int ck function, we can get the difference of that two variable. It could be in the day, month, year, quarter, week, as per our convenience, as per our requirement. We can use that function. This is all about for int ck. Again, we have to already discuss, like once we are creating the variable, date variable, then we have to use in format and format. So already discussed, like I already had taken in format. Now we are dealing with the format also. Format for which variable, date 1 and date 2, and using this format date 9 dot, and you, after running this, we can see that. So this is about the int ck function. You need to be very clear, very practice with this thing. Like suppose you have the two date, like date 1 and date 2. Date 1 is 16 November 2007 and date 2 is 23 December 2011. So once you want that month difference, then you can get that thing also with the using of this function, that int ck month difference, date 2 variable, date 1 and date 2. So you can get that month value, month difference, you can get the day difference, you can get the year difference, you can get the quarter difference, and you can get the week difference. All things you can get as per your requirement. Int ck is only used to get the difference of two variable. Okay. Okay, so this is about the first type of date function, that is int ck. So already see saw that all thing, like how to create this all, and if you want that in the printed view, if that in the summarized view in the page form, then we can also get that with the use of this proc step, that is the proc print step. For that procedure step we will learn in the upcoming video, but as of now just have to, like just have to just for the curious or awareness of that one, how to use that one, how to get that result in the printed form or in the result window. That is possible with the procedure step proc print. So for that we need to type here proc print, and again use the data, just of the data set name exp1, and end with the semicolon, then run with the end with the semicolon. So after getting this, like after running this one, we can get that result in the printed form. We can get the result, that is possible, like we can see the thing at in the one format, one window. As we are running this data set, so there will be problem while seeing the all variable, like you have to scroll left to right, and that is easy to analyze the thing. That might be difficult while seeing the all variable at a time. So by using this procedure step, like proc print, we can see the all variable in a one window, that is in the printed form. All variable like date 1 and date 2, we can see the date, month difference, day difference, year difference, quarter difference, week difference. So from here you can get the result in the printed form, and you can correlate the all variable, how the thing is changes, how we are getting the result. And this is by using with the proc print statement. So this is about the int ck function. Now we have to discuss the int nx function. So what is the int nx function? We'll see that int nx function is a function that is used for the increment in the date variable. Once you want the increment, that the in it could be in the form of day, month, year, quarter, or week. If you want that date increment of that values, then you can use this int nx function. Similarly, we are doing, as we are using for that int ck, we are doing the same thing, but there's difference in that instead of this int ck, we are using this int nx function. In 10x function we can say that the difference is like it gives the increment value of that one. Similarly, let's understand this with the example that data, just want to create this data of exp2, and date one variable I want to create this as using this date one variable values and using this date constant d. This is the in format also. So I want the increment in this variable, date variable, and increment in the month form. Like I want increment in the month form, and that month increment will be like of two. I want this later 2 month value, date value. What will be the two after 2 month date value? So we can get that with the using of nx function. So for that, getting that result, I'm storing this value in the month underscore increment value is equal to int nx function. That's because I want to increment in this date variable, and increment I want that in the form of month, and again comma with the variable date one. Just have to do in which variable you want that increment, and comma again how month, like how many, that is the in, if you are saying for the month, so total how many increment you want that. So if you can see that I had mentioned there are two, so I want 2 month increment in this date variable. So by using this, we can get result like you can see all things while running this data. So date one variable like month increment, we are getting this 2 month increment in the month value. So you can see by here like 07 and 2 month increment is showing the 09 of that. Similarly, we are doing that for the day, for the year, for the quarter, for the week. So we can see that after they running this already run this program. So we can see that day increment we are getting that how many day increment you want, that 15 days, how many increment you want, 2 day 2 year, how many quarter increment you want, 4, how many week increment you want, that 10. So all things you need to mention, that is the proper syntax for the int nx function. And again this value also gives, like you can see in the previous data set we are not giving the format for this of the variable because this is giving the only numbers. That's why we don't have to give the format for this variable. Month difference, day difference, year difference, quarter difference, week difference, all variable we don't have to give the in format also. But here we are getting the increment, but in the that is in the date format, date value format. That's why we had to give the format for all variable as well: date one, month increment, day increment, year increment, quarter increment, week increment. That's why I uses this all variable in the format statement, and using this format types like dd mm 10 dot this. So after running this, we can see that all variable we are getting that in that form, like day increment, year increment, quarter increment, week increment, all that. Suppose the same thing you want in the printed form, then you can also view that thing with the using this proc procedure step, that is proc print data is equal to exp2. So after running this we can get that in the printed form in the result window. So date one is date variable, what we have that month increment I want 2 month increment, day increment I want 15 days increment, year increment I want this 2 year increment, quarter increment. Similarly all the same, how much you want as per our requirement, as per our the sponsored by the organization, you need to do that thing and make changes with that. So the basic concept behind the int ck and int nx is int ck is used to get the difference of two variable, date variable, that is basically, and int nx is a function which we are going to discuss with the increment of the date values, like in it could be in the form of day, month, year, quarter, week, anything as per our requirement. What are the next one, like how we are dealing? One thing you see that one, that once after running this data set we are not getting the exact value as our, suppose I'm taking this 2 month increment, but it's the day always gives the starting date. You can see from here I'm getting the result of the month increment of 2 months, but I'm not getting the same value as per the date, that is the day. So for that thing, there is some modification modifier you can use that one. That is in the int nx function. You can use this e, m, and s modifier. Basically, e is used for the end value, m is exactly for the mid value, and s exactly for the starting, that is the same value. Once after running this, you can see that once we have the data and we want to increment in that month. So suppose this is the data for date one variable, and in the month increment, if we want that month increment in the end of value, so 2 month increment, but the day value should be need in the end month. At the here we want mid value. Increment of month is already done here in the month two. We are getting 2 month increment in all the three variable, but the you can see the changes of with the use of modifier, like here I'm using this end value, here I'm using this mid value, and here I'm using this same value. So in such case, as per our requirement, suppose that we need the same value, same date value in that one, that is also possible with the modifier is. If you want the mid value of that where date month year, that is also possible with this m modifier. If you want the end value, that then you can use this e value modifier. The rest of thing is the same as we discussed in the last data set exp2. The something is different in this data set, like have to use this modifier because we are not getting the same result, exact result. We need the increment in the month of 2 months, but we are not getting the exactly 2 month increment. That's they at there we are getting the 1.5 month. As if you are counting from the number of days, then we are getting only 1.5 month increment. That's why we need to use modifier to get the same value, to get the mid value, to get the end value as per our requirement. That is also possible with the use of this modifier. Okay, so all thing we can also use this proc procedure step, proc print step, so to view this all data set in the printed work in the one window screen, we can get that. While seeing the all variable in the output data, there is some difference, like we can't correlate the variable as whatever we are creating. So that's why we can use this proc procedure step, that proc print for correlate the variable, how the thing is changing. We can, for easy understanding, we can use this thing. So this is about the int ck and int nx function, and the extension of this int nx function. We can see that with the use of modifier. Similarly, you can use this modifier with the year variable also. Like if you are changes in the year, then you can get the value at the same year, mid year, end year, that all the thing. The date value, so the day value will be coming in as per the same. Like once you get it using this modifier. So they is very important that this is the modifier you need to use once you get the data in our requirement. That time you can use this modifier. Now we have another types of date function and date and time function. Like we have this date variable in such a way, like uh, we are getting that combination of date and time function. Suppose in this data set data exp5, there's a variable date underscore time one, in which we have the date and time combination with this separator of this colon. And after this I'm using this date and time constant, more date and time constant in format. So I'm using just this function, that date part and time part. By using this date part and time part, we can separate this two combination of date and time of this variable, that is date underscore time one. So I'm storing this variable values in the date variable and using this date part function to separate this date value from this date and underscore time one variable. Similarly, I'm using this time part function just for to separate the value of this time value from this date underscore time one variable, and storing this values in the time variable is equal to time part, and in bracket I'm storing the variable. From this variable you need to separate this time part, and again we are getting the value in the time and date. That's why we need to use the format for all the thing. We are giving this format for this variable date underscore time variable. Format will be like this, and for the date and time variable we are giving the format like this. So after running this, we can see and we can analyze the thing like how the thing is going on. We having this date and time value like this, and we want that date value in this way and time value in this way. So by using this date and time part function, we can separate the date and time combination. If you have the combination of date and time variable, then you can get separate by using date part and time part. So this is the another types of date function like and one more thing, you have to understand this thing. You have to deal with the day function, month function, year function. All things you can get with the knowledge. Suppose takes an example like we are creating this variable of the data, and we are using this variable a for the in format and format, and using this a is equal to today function, and in bracket we have to use this blank space. That's why we can get by using this format, we can get the today date. Suppose for any data set you want that today there is always, once you run this data you will get the today's date. So that is also possible by using this. Like for that you need to create this data of exp1, and you have to use that, or else you can also create that variable, and or else you can use that in format, and using this variable for format in format for this variable, and format for this for variable, and you storing this variable is equal to function today function. And after running this we can get the today's date value. What is the today date value? So by that way, suppose we are creating that variable, so we are getting the same value. Once we are creating for today variable, I am storing that date in the inputs and cards date variable, then we will get the same value as we have mentioned. But by using this today function, we can get the same value, the today value, date value, once we run this data set, once we run this program. Similarly, if you are creating this like this way, was we have the data exp2, and in inputs I'm storing this variable a, and as this I had mentioned, this one is a date variable, so for that we need to use in format and format. Even we can use this in format within this statement also, and format just because to tell the SAS in format, to tell the SAS that I had written this variable in this format, and format we are giving that because we want to display that variable in such format. That's why we are using this format, and cards the value of this variable. And after running this you can see that we are getting the variable value as like that, we are getting the value like. And suppose we want the day, month and year of that variable, so for that thing you need to do that data exp3. How we are doing that one, like data exp3, and calling this that data set, that is exp2, by using this set statement. And I just want the day value in this variable, month value in this variable, day year value in this variable. Suppose you have any example of date variable, and you are not dealing with the date variable, you want just only the day or month or year. By your convenience you want to separate that all values, day value, month value, year value, in the three variable value. That is also possible with the day, month and year function. So by running this you can see that, you can analyze that how the thing is going on, how the program is going running that thing. You can see that if we having this date variable a 12 October 2021, and in the v variable I'm storing this day value, so I'm getting here 12, and in the c variable I'm storing this month value, that's why we are getting the 10th October, and in the d variable I'm storing this year value, so we are getting this year value where 2021. So by this way we can get all things. So till now, just I'm going to conclude all the thing what we had discussed till today. So we saw that for the date function, the int ck function, just to get the difference of two variable, date variable you can say, and similarly for the int nx function, that's of to get the increment in the date variable, date values, if you want that increment. And increment also we can get with the use of modifier. If you want for the same value you can use this s modifier. If you want the mid value, then you can use mid modifier, M modifier. If you want the end value, then you can get with the end modifier, that is E. So that's all same as our requirement, and we can do the same. We also discussed that what is the date part and time part. So if you have the combination of date and time variable, then you can use this date part and time part to separate the variable. Again, we discussed that today function, like how we are dealing with the today function. Suppose it that once you run this program and you want that particular date of that value, then you can get with the help of today function. And suppose you have any date value and you are interested for only day, month or year value only, then you can also use this day, month and year variable. So this is all about for in today that is session, that is in date function. What are the date function, how you are dealing with that, and why we are using this one. You all hope you know all this thing. So just be practice with this thing, like have to practice 2 or 3 times, because this is very very important, little bit difficult also. You have to practice 2 times. The once you practice, you will be very proficient in this thing. And there's no more tough thing in that. You can take it, it's in a moderate way. You can learn this by practice all things. If you have any query, then you can ping me in comment section, or I'll definitely reach out to you. Okay, thank you so much.